one, your chronological edition for May 27th. I know today is May 28th, but like I said yesterday, I forgot it was Monday yesterday because it was a holiday, and so I was sitting around all day going, it's Sunday, and it wasn't. It was Monday, so sorry about that, but you know what? It's just another opportunity for us to practice grace. Grace for ourselves and grace for one another, right? So, thank you for being patient with me, being just a human person who doesn't do things perfectly. All right, May 25th through May 27th, we read 2nd Chronicles, 1st Kings. We read a couple of Psalms that Solomon wrote. Some of you may not have known that Solomon wrote some Psalms. It was kind of cool. And then we read the first 4 Proverbs. Remember, Proverbs was written, it was a collection of wisdom from Solomon. So, it's again the Solomon show. We got to see a lot of Solomon's achievements, his financial achievements. I mean, he had a lot. He had gold, he had everything. Name it, he had it, and he had it in droves. And everyone knew it, and everyone just kept giving him more. Then he also had political achievements. He had peace all around him, countries around him loved him, gave him honor. He also had relational achievements in that he loved his people and they loved him back. There was peace in his kingdom because of that. Organizational achievements. Did you see how everything just ran like a well-oiled machine? He put everybody in their place and everything ran well. And then he also had spiritual achievements, which is kind of what we're talking about today. In 1 Kings 10:23, it kind of gives us just a summation of really what we read about and what people were thinking about King Solomon. It says, so King Solomon became richer and wiser than any other king on earth. People from every nation came to consult him and to hear the wisdom God had given him. So he was very well respected and known for his wisdom. A lot of his wisdom was documented in the Proverbs, like I said, and in a psalm or two. And he spoke a lot about wisdom. So that's what we're talking about today, is a life of wisdom. What does that look like? Since Solomon was described as the wisest man ever, and he talked a lot about wisdom, then he would be somebody to listen to about wisdom since he was wise. So let's talk about this life of wisdom and what it can look like. And we're going to be looking only at Proverbs. So I want to, first of all, one of the things about the Proverbs is we always, when we're reading the Bible, we need to pay attention to the genre of the book, what type of book it is. There are history books. There are poetry. There's poetry in the Psalms. Proverbs, it's a book of wisdom. And so we can't look at the book of Proverbs. We can't look at all the things that are said in Proverbs as black and white promises. That's not what this is. It's not a book of promises. It's a book of wise sayings. In other words, implement these things in your life and you're positioning yourself favorably and for a favorable outcome. It's the things that God would want us to do and the things that he would want us to know, and that puts us in a place for a favorable outcome. I still have holiday brain, I think. Okay, so the characteristics of, we're going to talk about the characteristics of a life of wisdom. So the first one, I'm going to give you 4, right? 4. Your first one, first characteristic of a wise life is that God makes wisdom accessible. You can access it. You can get to it. He's not playing a game of hide and seek with you, like try to figure out what it is I'm saying and what I want. Good luck. He's not like that. Take a look at Proverbs 1:20 through 21. I love this. It says, wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those gathered in front of the city gate. She's shouting out in the middle of everyone, and she's shouting loudly. And then in 24, she, being wisdom, she says, I called you so often, but you wouldn't come. I reached out to you, but you paid no attention. So she was calling loudly, and she calls often. Wisdom, God wants you to find wisdom. He wants you to seek wisdom, and he wants you to have it. He wants you to be wise. He doesn't want us like bumbling along in life, trying to figure things out. Because remember, we're called to be ambassadors of Christ. And he didn't bumble along. And he didn't he wasn't like trying to figure it out as he went. He followed the Father, the end. And that's what we are called to do. We're called to seek out God and seek wisdom because we are representatives of him, people who are carrying along his lessons, his light, his life to the world. So he wants us to be wise. So he makes wisdom accessible. Number 2, gaining wisdom is an action. Like, we're not going to just fall into wisdom. We're not just going to sit at home, do nothing, and be considered wise. It's an action. In Proverbs 2:1-4, it says, "My child, listen to what I say." So listen, "and treasure my commands. Tune your ears to wisdom. Concentrate on understanding. Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasure." Like I said, we're not going to fall into wisdom. We have to put ourselves in positions to get it, to hear it, to receive it. So we need to search it out in sermons. We need to search it out in prayer, in our Bible. I mean, Proverbs is all full of wisdom. Search God out. In Christian books, there's all kinds of wisdom that people have learned from God that they're like putting out there in books for us to learn. So we need to actively search it out. Christianity is a religion of rest. It's not a religion of laziness. We're called to action. So number 2, gaining wisdom is an action. Number 3, wisdom is beneficial. It's good for us. In 1:33, we see that it gives us peace. In 2:11, we see that it brings us safety. 2:12, because think about it. If you're seeking God and you're doing what he's wanting you to do, you're going, what do I do about this? And God goes, do this. And you go, okay, well, that's going to keep us out of a lot of trouble, right? 2:12 and 16, we get discernment from temptation. In a moment of temptation, we can see it out for what it is. It's temptation, and we can go, that's not a good thing to do. Not going to do it. 3:13, it brings us joy. Having wisdom brings us joy. 3:17, satisfaction. How many of us are looking for a way to feel satisfied? Gaining wisdom from God brings us satisfaction. 3:22 says it brings us refreshment. This nourishment that we're looking for, a breath of fresh air, comes in seeking wisdom from God. It brings us security, 3:24 says. 4:12 says it gives us strength. Like, it strengthens us to keep going. And in 4:22, it brings us life and healing. So wisdom isn't just knowing where to go and when to do it. Those are super important too. But it's so much bigger than that. So much of what we're looking for in life comes in simply seeking out wisdom from God. And that brings us to number 4. True wisdom comes from God alone. In 2:6, this is what it says. "For the Lord grants wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding." God is the one who gives us true biblical wisdom. Yes, we can have knowledge. We can even have worldly wisdom. But if we're going to follow God, if we're going to have true biblical, God-honoring wisdom, that comes straight from God. In 3, 5, and 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding." So it's not saying that you're not going to have understanding. It's saying don't depend on your own understanding. And then after that it says, "Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take." So seeking him, don't go, I got this, I understand it, I'm good, I'm knowledgeable, I am educated on this. Great. And don't depend on that. Depend on God and seek him in everything you do. And it says he will show you which path to take. So, how? How do we do it? Number 1, daily ask for it. Okay, God, I need wisdom. I need wisdom. Stop before we do something. Okay, God, show me what to do. Then position yourself to hear it. Get still. Get in your Bible. Seek out some Christian counsel from somebody who you know is trying to walk with the Lord. Pray. Read books, like I said. Then, a lot of times we have to wait patiently. We want answers now. Give me answers and give me them now. And God's like, I got my own timeline here. I don't work when you tell me to work. I'm not going to give you answers just because you're yelling at me. So, wait. It's okay. It's okay to wait until you know what God is saying. Then move. And then ask for confirmation. Now, remember that a lot of times God will call us to take that first step, and then we'll get confirmation after that what we just did was God. And that might look like feedback that we get. It might look like, oh, wow, that was super effective. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I don't know. You may hear something in a sermon where you're like, woo, that's just exactly what I just did. I must be going in the right way. Okay, and then make that a habit. Make all that a habit of daily asking and waiting and seeking. Make it a habit. Okay, so Q&E, questions and encouragements. Pick one. Number one, start this habit that I just talked about of daily asking and positioning yourself and waiting and then seeking confirmation. Or if you don't like that, number two, read The Next Right Thing. I don't have it in here. I think I already talked to y'all about this. The Next Right Thing by Emily P. Freeman. It's all about what to do next. So you can read that or another Christian book like that. Or number three, if you don't want to read that, you can read all the Proverbs. There's 31 of them, one for every day of the month. If you're not reading this like we are, if you're just listening to the videos, maybe you can do that. Read the Proverbs, one every day, and seek wisdom that way. That's it. All right, so I will talk to you on Friday for our Friday video. All right, see y'all later. Bye-bye.